especially between hardship and wrong. Morning, Albert. We can't see you. I see you.
What was the first one? In spite of what?
In spite of our flaws,
In
flaws.
spite of our flaws?
We're in spite of flaws.
Okay,
That's
right.
right. Mine says he can't use anyone or anything.
Okay, thanks.
God will continue to respond more disciplined if people show repent. What were the consequences of Barak's continued conditional obedience to God? Remember that? Deborah? You said in your song?
What's your question?
Okay. What were the consequences of Barak's conditional obedience to God?
He didn't get the glory for that.
That's right. Somebody did their homework. Remember. Thank you, Sue. Okay. When we can trust His plan because it's always perfect, regardless of our failings, and even if we don't understand it. Says a lot right there. If we don't understand God's word, a lot of times we just need to trust Him and follow it. I know I don't do that, and I'm going to do it more. Do you remember? Just want to tell the age of everybody down our church today. Remember the trunk monkey? Do you remember that commercial about the trunk monkey? They had that tire. The guy sitting in that car was mad at the guy behind him. The guy gets out of the car, comes up there, he pushes that button, and that monkey gets out. That tire. End of story. The guy's taken care of. Yeah. Okay. If we were looking for a personal bodyguard, the monkey certainly wouldn't be our first option, or even our last list of options. But apparently, if you train a monkey to follow big, threatening, mean guys that hit with a tire on, it can be an effective alternative to the bodyguard. Okay. You know, in our lesson today, we find Gideon becoming a judge of Israel very about as unlikely as a monkey becoming a bodyguard. But God did it anyways. Okay. God uses, again, the big idea of Gideon, in spite of flaws and weaknesses. Okay, he reminds us that He can't use anyone for anything. Okay. I like this as it starts off. It pleases God to use unlikely, imperfect people to do great things. A question I have. Why do you think God does that?
Shows God has the power to use the glory.
There you go. Thank you, brothers. I'm glad to hear this. Does that answer us? God can use us to do great things because we did that cycle. We stand there. If we just listen. Okay, so we're going to go into the fourth cycle now. We're going to be in chapter 6, 1 through 11. So I can find someone to start us off here.
How far?
Chapter 6, 1 through 11.
Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years He gave them into the hands of the Midianites, because the power of Midian was so oppressive. The Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in the mountain clefts, caves, and strongholds. Whenever the Israelites planted their crops, the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern people invaded the country. They camped on the land and ruined the crops all the way to Gaza, and did not spare a living thing for Israel, neither sheep nor cattle nor donkeys. They came up with their livestock in their tents like swarms of locusts. It was impossible to count the men and their camels. They invaded the land to ravage it. Midian so empowered the Israelites that they cried out to the Lord for help. When the Israelites cried to the Lord because of Midian, He sent them a prophet who said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. I snatched you from the power of Egypt and from the hand of all your oppressors. I drove them from before you and gave you their land. I said to you, I am the Lord your God. Do not worship the gods of the Amorites in whose land you live. But you have not listened to me. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joaz the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a wine press to keep it from the Midianites.
Thank you. Okay. Of course, we start off in chapter 6 again, verse 1. Here we go again. The Israelites are starting to fall back on their bad habits. Actually starting to worship the people again and worship the gods of the other people in foreign lands. And of course, we know this time and time again, they've done this and it displeases God. So each time He gives them a chance to follow Him. What happens? They go backwards. And God says, okay, here we go again. I'm going to have to chase them once again. So during that time, in that fourth cycle, after the deliverance to Deborah and Barak, that did last for 40 years. But Israel did sin again. Okay, so in your number 2 blank, there, number 1, I'm sorry, fourth cycle. The Midianite, Alchemites, and the people of the east. Okay, that's where verses 2 through 6. The Jews had run to their dens, caves, and mountains to live and hide from the oppressors. The enemy would destroy the entire harvest and the livestock all around, as we just read, which is kind of bad because they had very little substance when they came back out because it was all destroyed by the enemy. Why do you think the enemy wanted that to take all the fields, take all the cattle, kill everything? What do you think that main purpose was from the Mennonites?
Keep them oppressed.
Okay, correct. And why is that? Because God willed that to happen, actually. Okay, but they didn't want the Israelites to go back and throw any strength. They know in the past, they know, even the Alchemites knew that God, their God, would supply their needs for them if they were doing right. And didn't, as long as He kept them oppressed and everything else, and kept their minds and eyes off of the Lord even more, they knew that wouldn't happen. And they got the booty from it. Basically, they got all the grain, they got all their cattle every year. They grew back stronger. All they're doing is refurbishing the Mennonites. And they didn't have, all they had to do was come and conquer, walk in and take what they wanted. Okay. So the oppression continued to get worse. Okay, now we'll go into verse 7 and we can see where despair was. This time God sent a prophet. He sent a deliverer. We haven't seen this in either of the cycles so far. God reminded them all He has done. He set them free from bondage in Egypt and gave them the land of Canaan. He reminded them of what they had done. They disobeyed by worshiping again other gods. Okay. It's as if God was asking them, do you understand why you're even being punished? And it kind of kept going over their head. Why can't they see it? Okay. Are you just crying out for the pain to end, or are you going to repent? In the New Testament, we are reminded that what God did for us and why we should live obediently. The motivation for living the Christian life isn't to gain something, but to live up to what we already have. That struck a. When I read that, I had to read that over several times because it just, even though I was reading it, that just reverbed in my head. And what do we have? We already have what? We already now. They even had. We have Christ in our lives. Okay, we have some place to go. We already been forgiven. So now it's just we need to live up to what God has given us. Okay. Deliverer, verses 11. Gideon. His life teaches us many things. He is the only judge who personally struggles with faith that are recorded. Gideon's life shows us that he didn't need perfect people, but he didn't use anybody for anything. got through the transition, we, in Judge 6 is there, okay, we first encountered getting treasured wheat in wine press, okay, because every time the Mennonites seen somebody doing that, they took that for themselves, okay. God doesn't look at the superficial things we do. God looks much deeper in a person's heart. God sees what people can become and what they will do. We tend to forget that too a lot of times, so we can't hide from God. He sees everything we do, everywhere we walk, everything we talk, everything we, the directions we go in our life. Of course, He's omniscient and knows all, as I said. But we have difficulty imagining anything beyond what we can see. What could that really annoying person at work or we deal with all the time? If God could take Gideon, we show God to somebody and work with them, disciple them, or let them to the Lord in Christ. What could that person do for God? Turn from their evil ways. They change their life. Just as God changed our life. It's kind of our responsibility. Gideon responded by wondering why God had forsaken him and let all these bad things happen. Was he really serious? The very fact that God was chastening Israel proved he had not abandoned him, but was trying to guide him back to him because of his great love. We do that many times in our own children at home. We have to show them we can give them discipline, show them that we still love them. And how many times have we heard in our lives other people talk about their children and heard them that they come back to the fold and understood? How many times have we said it our own through our own mothers or fathers' words coming out of our own mouth as we get married and have kids? It hurts sometimes. Okay. But Israel proved that he had not been loving commandments. God speaks to his children through the loving voice of Scripture, or the heavy hand of chastening. If we ignore the first, God gives us the second alternative. Ooh. Gideon's attitude is typical of us when we live in defeat and discouragement. If we allow sin a place in our life, or our life will become consumed by our struggles, instead of trusting God, a lot of times we live in defeat and discouragement, which kind of blinds us to the fact that God loves us. So far, Gideon has proved to be a coward and a whiner. But God decided to work with him anyways. I like that. Developed him into a deliverer. In verse 12, he told Gideon he was with him. In verse 14, he promised us, Gideon, to use to deliver Israel from the Mennonites. What great news. Gideon then proceeded to question God. He knew what he was doing. How could God save Israel through him? When God reveals His will to us, we shouldn't question His wisdom or argue with His plans. But God was preparing Gideon and graciously reaffirmed His promise. In verse 16, still unconvinced, Gideon asked for miracles, signs. He brought an offering. God consumed him with fire. I lost my spot. Yeah, okay, but in the verse 24 and 6, Gideon was at least convinced. I'm sorry if that happened to me in front of me. I think I'd be convinced too. I can assume that. Okay, and Megan, the God was speaking to him in progress, but God wasn't through with him yet. He wanted him to do something else. We know that we read through the Judges that God then that getting to be the next step. Taking care of some personal spiritual issues. Okay. I know time to time I have spiritual issues I need to take care of. I need to bring to the Lord because I know that I am able to make the right decision. Or I can feel the chastening of the Lord and say, hey, I've got to slow down here and take a different direction. I've got to listen to the Lord a little bit more. Okay, taking care of some personal issues, spiritual issues. God told him to tear down his father's altar to devour. Build an altar to the Lord and make a sacrifice using the wood from the altar for the fire. He didn't have to look to see what he was going to do. Was he more fear? Was he being more fear of the people, or is he being more fearful of God? I think
At this point, it's people.
pardon?
At this point, it's the people who's more fearful.
Yeah, but he at the same time, I think he realized if he didn't listen to the Lord, there's going to be worse consequences. But yes, he was. Okay, so this is where you have to take that stand. When God calls, you sometimes need to take care of some personal and spiritual business to get effective in God's work. That means kind of look at some sin maybe we have in our lives that we need to get rid of. Okay, so can I ask you to read 2 Timothy 2:20-22?
But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay, some for honor and some for dishonor. Therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from the latter, he will be a vessel for honor, sanctified and useful for the master, prepared for every good work. Flee also youthful lust, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, peace with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart.
Okay, what does that speak of? This piece. Okay. You might want to take a hit at that one. That's what God's saying there in 2 Timothy.
Well, there's sometimes you gotta get rid of some junk. Yeah, and God said, decide to get rid of some junk and rely on the Lord totally.
Okay. But also we have to do what we want. Pure heart. Again, as Martha said, we do with a pure heart. We got to kind of take a look in the mirror sometimes and see what's kind of affecting us and what's keeping us from having that pure heart. Okay. And kind of asking God to help show us and help guide us in that direction. Okay. So I like that word, when God calls, or that direction, when God calls. Okay. So we also have to listen. We also have to make ourselves available when God calls us. Okay. So to get rid of some simple habits, worldly lusts, etc., we can build an altar to the Lord until we tear down all altars. We can't build an altar to the Lord until we tear down all altars we have to false gods. Okay. In verses 34 and 35, Gideon gathers an army of 32,000 men, which is in verse 7 and verse 3. We find out in chapter 8 that the enemy army was 135,000 men. Gideon still wasn't sure about God's plan. So he asked for a couple signs putting out the place. God provided both signs to confirm his plan to Gideon. Got a question for you. So, what does the story of Gideon in chapter 6 teach us about knowing of the will of God? Okay, if we look at putting out the fleece is not a biblical method for determining the will of God. What we're doing, we're kind of tempting God by setting up a test for him and risk misinterpreting just about anything as his will. It's a sign of doubt. A lot of times we have. Will the Lord actually do this? Can he do this? And that's what Gideon was basically kind of doing, wasn't he? He was testing God. His faith wasn't as strong as it needed to be. Okay.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think that verse teaches us that we can go to God even in our doubt, and he's a loving God and he will answer our request if we bring it to him, because he isn't a dictator to us, just us mindlessly going about our daily tasks. So I think of this verse as a way of, if my son or daughter comes to me and asks me and they aren't sure, what do?
Okay.
I show them how to be sure. I think this is a verse not of his, he might have had doubt. I don't think of it as a negative. I think it teaches us that we can go to the Lord and ask for requests.
Okay.
And he's loving enough to give us the answer that we desire.
I think you can look at it both ways.
Well, yes, but which ways? I like what you said, and I like also what Sue said. But when we're thinking both ways, where does that bring us back to? Back to you.
Bring us, what do you mean? Were you asking me?
Yes, no, I'm saying I agree with Sue and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, when we're doing that, where's that gonna bring us back to?
Right on God.
So, yeah. I never thought of it the way you said it. I was thinking the way more Sue was saying. Okay, but now that you bring that up, it does. I guess that's why we have, we say godly, people that's been in the scriptures and everything else, and God has spoken to them, and we learn from godly people.
Open discussion, you don't always see it the same way.
Yeah. So,
Well, kind of like also Larry, he put out the fleece.
yeah.
And God answered that. And he was like, okay, well, I need one more time now. I understood you answered that first fleece. We're going to flip it around and do the second fleece now. And then I'm going to see, God answered the second one. So, I don't know if he would have done 5, or the guy would have went 5, but he actually went 2.
I'm sorry, I gotta stick with that fire first, the consumption. I've had enough for me.
Right?
I've had enough for me. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, now, okay. We seek that in His Word through prayer, wise counsel. When I always said that, when godly believers, I think, I didn't spoke, I didn't realize it. And sensitivity to the Holy Spirit in watching circumstances. But here it says, probably should never use only circumstances. Okay. God graciously tolerated Gideon's request as he was preparing him to be Israel's deliverer. He might stoop to our weaknesses once or twice if we are a juvenile in faith. Okay. But he certainly won't enable us to remain there by continuing to responding to our fleeces. Mark, you hit it right on the spot again. Okay? Like this. When God calls us, He may need to prepare us as He did Gideon. That preparation was more successful in Gideon than it is often in us. Gideon was a coward, complainer, doubter, and generally unimpressive when we first looked at him, but at least he went through the preparation processes with God. So we've got to accept that at least he went through the preparation. So he prepared, but he didn't do it all himself. He went through it with God. He doubted God, at least he had a dialogue with him. He asked God for signs of confirmation. When God told him to clean up the area of his life, he did it. God commands us to take His gospel to all the earth. We don't even have a dialogue with Him. We just ignore it. An overwhelming majority of Christians never share their faith. We've gone over it several times, many lessons, and sometimes we have to look at that. Mark, you was in, as you went out many times out in the field out there to people. I remember that. I remember you asking me a few times to come with me. And I kind of made excuses. Do I regret that now? I could admit, yes, I do, because I've been further off.
You still have more chances.
Yeah, that's the back. Yes, But I do regret that, because how much further and stronger I'd have been in my faith if I would have went out to somebody like Mark and done this. Okay, I'm feeling more comfortable now, but again, how much further ahead would I have been? Okay, we find this story of Gideon is incredible. He was cowardly, whining, and doubtful. He was imperfect, just like us, but God chose to use him anyways. He also chooses to use us. God doesn't need especially good leaders to accomplish his purpose. If he chooses us, it doesn't matter who we are, because he's already chosen us. We have already been chosen. Okay.
Hey Larry, when you look at what you're talking about, you just described him as being whining and cowardly, but he grew.
Mm-hmm.
He went from 30,000 to 10,300. So tell me his faith didn't grow. His faith, and he never complained. He never questioned God. God said, go to the river, and I'm gonna lead him out. And he didn't say, well, wait a minute, Lord, we're going to battle. I got 30,000 men. He was obedient. He was obedient down to 300.
Okay, but those 300, did you see what happened? As God chose Gideon to be a leader, God worked through him to be a leader, and those people, those 300 men, chose him, and they marched behind Gideon. He had no fear either.
That's what I'm saying. He went from a coward to a great leader. So that's what I'm saying. Just like we were talking about the fleeces, he learned, he grew to where God, I mean, God just, if he just said right off the bat, okay, without any fleeces, without any training, go down to 300, he probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
He needed that security, that you going along with Mark witnessing, he needed that example, that encouragement to get to that point, to be a strong leader. Because he wasn't a leader, he was the least of the least.
Yeah. But again, we're all seeing that. What you're saying is, if you look at that, where was Gideon's focus on? Gideon wasn't focusing on his strength or his desire. He was following God. He was focusing on God. And when we focus on God, we shouldn't have any fear. And we're very little. Yeah. Okay, that's the devil's tool, of course, we know. Okay. Okay, I'm wrapping up this discussion about putting out the police to determine God's will. Gideon knew God's will before putting out the police. God had told him in verses 14 and 16 out of chapter 6. Gideon acknowledged this with a phrase, as you have said. In verses 36 and 37, he didn't gain any assurance the first time because he asked the second time. This passage does not provide a blueprint to determine God's will. It demonstrates weak faith by someone who has difficulty trusting in God. To discern God's will for our lives, we must search His Word. But when the Word has been shown to us what we need to do, we must obey His Word. Pray, seek godly, wifely counsel. There's many ways we can do that, seek that counsel. Of course, we already know we can do it in God's Word. We can do it through the Holy Spirit. We can do it through our pastors, our teachers, our church leaders. God gives us many tools to use if we use the right tools. Okay, it's like we want to go to somebody. It's like going to a marriage counselor who's been married or divorced 7 or 8 times. Why would we go to somebody like that? God may choose to use circumstances to confirm His will in our lives. We must be careful not to test God with our fleeces and rely solely on circumstances to determine His will. The following passages provide some biblical principles to determine the will of God in your life. You can write these down. Like Psalms 37, 3-4. Psalms 73:23. Okay. And it's 23-24. Proverbs is a great along with it because Proverbs is a great teaching tool. 11, chapter 11, 13, 14. John 14:21. And Philippians 4, chapter 4, 6, and 7. We should know that one in my heart. Attention getter. Okay. As we continue our study beginning, we will examine faith. Okay? In what ways do these men place their faith in themselves? Okay, this is on the video that I can't pull up. Okay. Of course, our big idea is faith in God produces surrender. When we put our faith in God, we're surrendering our faith to Him. Okay. And leads us to victory over our enemies. Okay, we might not have enemies here such as large. As of yet, it hasn't come to invade our country. But could that happen? We already see it happen in small ways. We're getting invaded by liberals, I would say, trying to take our faith and trying to start things like in China. They don't want our faith out there because they feel like who's the strongest in the country. They're trying to destroy so many things in our nation right now. But at the same time, look at people like, again in China. They're underground, they're growing. It kind of seems like kind of the opposite way in our country now. We're dying. Because we're not putting our faith and standing up for our faith enough. Okay, in verses 1 through 8 of chapter 7, God reduces Gideon's army. Okay. We already kind of went through this, 30,000 to 300. Why? Again, if we go back to verse 2. The land of Midian prevailed against Israel because of the Midianites. The children of Israel will make for themselves a dens, caves, and strongholds which are in the mountains. As I read that in verse 2, it's like partly God, the Israelites are trying to hide from God, really. I don't think they're actually trying to hide from the Midianites as much as they are from God. They know they're sinning, but we can't hide from God. He sees all we do. He's going to love us just like Brother Walter's Bagger said, but He's going to chastise us if we keep on going. Keep on hiding from Him. He wants to pull us back. He wants us to come back to Him. He can love us. And I think in that direction, why we constantly do in our life now. I think in America we start seeing again so many things that we let come in, sexuality issues, killings and shootings and everything else that's going on and everything else like that. That's gaining. And we sit there, we don't understand it. We should understand it. It's going to happen if we leave our lives away from God. Okay. So the idea is to make sure Israel knew the victory came by Him and not by their strength. They would be victorious by faith. Okay, and we read Zechariah, we're kind of running out of time here. 4 and 6 tells us in John 15:5. This is a crucial lesson in spiritual warfare. Okay, I'll go through these real quick here. Zechariah 4 and 6. So he answered and said to me, "This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, not by my might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts." Okay. So he's talking about not by his might again, but by his spirit. He's talking about the power of the Lord. John chapter 13, verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. Because we know who's speaking there. It's Jesus. So he's saying, you can't do it when you're powered by yourself. That's why I came here. That's why I'm here. Okay? So truth, faith in God produces something in us. We surrender to God's will. We can't rely on someone else's faith. This was written by J.G. Stryker, said, faith is like a toothbrush. Everybody should have one and use it regularly. It's not what he said to use somebody else's. I don't think I want to. As little as that sounds like. With an army of 200 against 135,000, Gideon needed all his faith he could muster. God had been leading Gideon to grow his faith. He promised to use Gideon to deliver Israel. He provided a miraculous sign, assuming the sacrifice with fire burned to his God. He protected Gideon when he tore down the altar to bow and allowed Gideon to assemble an army. He graciously responded to Gideon's fleece test. In verses 9 to 14, God led Gideon in the final step of his faith, encouragement, journey. He allowed Gideon to hear the interpretation of the Mennonite dream proclaiming victory for Israel. At this point, Gideon's faith journey was complete and surrendered to God's will. In verse 15, Gideon worshiped God, sprung into action, and claimed God's promise. This is our example to follow when God confirms He calls us in our lives. We are moving. Okay, but we're not moving alone. We're moving in God's power, in His direction, in His timing. Suddenly, Conquer Gideon emerged. 300 men with trumpets, empty pitchers, and torches attacked the army of 135,000 men. Could you imagine seeing that happening? They surrounded the enemy camp, blew the trumpets, broke the pitchers, held up the torch and shouted, the sword of the Lord and Gideon. This happened about 10 o'clock at night time, and beginning in the middle of the watch, verses 19, chapter 6. And the sudden noise and appearance of the lights and the darkness around them made it seem as a huge army had surrounded them. And in this desperation to escape, the Mennonites attacked each other. How many times have we got out of bed in the middle of the night in the dark to try to walk around the wall or something? Okay, confusion. Imagine that 135,000 times going on. Everybody tripping all over everybody, trying to. The fear of Gideon and God. The Mennonites knew who their God was. Yeah. Kind of desperate people here. Many of the enemy died that night. The remainder fell eastward. Gideon gathered reinforcements from the other tribes and pursued the enemy across the Jordan until we all were killed. What did we learn last time what happened? When the people didn't follow God's word and wipe out all the people that God told them to wipe out. They ended up right here for this part. Okay. Gideon demonstrated his leadership in dealing with conflict amongst people. Instead of putting Ephraim in his place, Gideon modeled the wisdom of Proverbs 51. He treated his brothers with kindness. Succoth and Peniel, these towns in the tribe, refused to provide food, for Gideon's army. Gideon promised he would return to discipline them. He beat the leaders, Succoth, with thorny branches and killed the men of Peniel. Why did Gideon show kindness and forgiveness to one and not the other? He killed one group of them, but did he show complete kindness? I don't know, beaten by thorns would be too good. If you poke by a big thorn, kind of burns and stings. Imagine being beaten all over your body with it. Okay.
Larry, there's faith and then there's extreme faith. And I look at this as just absolutely extreme faith. For Gideon to take 35,000 men against the country's army would have been a large task. But then when God said to have 300 men, it's like, I have no idea what's going on here. Wow. Okay, then the army you're up against has chariots and the latest technology and whatever technology they had at that time. I got a trumpet. I can't even play a trumpet. Okay, I'm gonna go against this army with a trumpet, okay? They've got knives and spears and I got a pitcher and a torch. You know, what's going on here, guys? That's why I say that there's faith. Gideon, I just don't think we understand the extreme faith that Gideon had to have to do the task that he had to have. And how he grew his strength, like Doug said. But I mean, everything, all the odds were totally against him in common sense odds.
But through that whole lesson, what can we get out of that lesson?
With God on your side, you have a chance, no doubt.
No, but I look at that though, is that he used Gideon's faith in a tremendous way, as we discussed, and like you said, I pictured that coming down that hill. Of course, if we read Judges 2 back there in there, that the Midianites, they carried there, since he was a traveling caravan most of the time, they brought all their flocks of everything, so getting everything moved out and everything else, they just wouldn't trip over their own feet. They're probably tripping over livestock, all over their chariots and everything else, because you wake up in the middle of the night, all this noise coming down there, and all you turn around and seeing this, Gideon had set up a plan that he had, had not only come down at once, but he planned that through. And all that stuff coming down at one time and shit, waking up out of this sleep. These Midianites thinking, hey, they got everything in their hands, they consistently come in there and took away their part of their harvest year after year. They took all their livestock away year after year. So do you think they felt any worry or any fear? No. They thought they can do it all. They were a large army. Okay. And that lesson shows us again what God can do in our lives with so little. He can do great things in any way he wants to. If we just get up and follow him. And that's what Gideon did. That's what those 300 men did.
I'd like to think I
Yeah.
did, but I don't think I would be. I'd say up front, I don't know if I could be. I would like to think I would be. But I mean, those are extreme odds.
Those are extreme odds, but you just said it right there. I think you could be. So could God use that? Has he used that in your life already? Yes.
Yes, but I mean, these are extreme. I just don't think we understand the extreme of them.
Yes, I do, but,
He started small.
yeah.
And let him up to that point.
Right.
But I think that's what this Old Testament, all Judges is about. Okay, throughout the Vedas, all the Old Testament, it shows that no matter how many times we fall backwards, the biggest thing is about the whole thing is about repentance. If we repent of our sins and take our problems to God, God will guide us and deliver us. And that's what happened here. God delivered the people from the Mennonites because they cried out to him the same way as Gideon. I want to say this. Same way as Gideon started, with God. He tested them and everything else. But that's something here. I'm trying to get something out of my mind. Okay. When God sent that prophet, he sent a deliverer. Okay. And all those other people, okay, Ephraim, or where the other tribe was, okay, a lot of those people, he gave them a choice to leave, okay, go back to their families, those ones that were afraid. But afterwards, when he had them all running, when the pictures were broke and everything else, and he did the pursuing, a lot of those people that went away decided to join. Oh, yeah, you see it going good now. So they joined him and helped destroy the enemy. They chased him further. He came back. And when he came back, that's what I kind of was trying to draw out of that. When we come back, those people came back and we get right with God, seeing when His work is being done, what God wants us to do in our lives, He will deliver us. And that's what happened here. But I just see, I can picture that, all that noise and those trumpets, even though it's a little trumpet. Can you imagine 300 of them? How loud that would be? We can be victorious in God when we blow a trumpet. Get a tube, it's good. You know?
Hey,
But,
Eric,
yes.
to Mark's point over there about the 300 with the trumpets and the pitchers, you don't see, that leads to the question in my mind, where did those 300, where did they get their faith and their confidence from? You know, they didn't see, Caleb or Gideon had to see signs from God to build his confidence up. You know, those 300 were just told to do this, and they did it. And I'm like Mark. You know, I never blew a trumpet before, and you know, it leads me to think, what gave those guys to go out, those 300, knowing they were outnumbered and they didn't have the weapons? Was it because Caleb was such a confident, or Gideon was such a confident leader? I don't know, but when I see that, these guys didn't even ask questions, they just did what they were told.
I go back and look at even in the book of Joshua, when we look at he was great leader when he died, because he followed God within.
But the difference between Joshua was he was being groomed by Moses. He was the military leader for Moses. He sort of knew what his life was going to be after Moses passed away. But you know, here's Caleb, the guy that totally lacked the confidence. And God had to build his confidence up. And then that confidence had to be transferred from him to those 300 people.
Yeah.
It's just a marvelous thing to me to see something like that happen.
So, in saying that what you just said, though, where should that lead us? Where should we get our confidence?